Hey there, boys and girls, it's your old pal Newsbot 3000 with your cosmic news for the evening. I am here covering for my good friend Dirk Bradshaw, who is off shooting his new show for the November transition to live video. Tonight we will take a time travel ride to visit my late friend Carl Sagan. That is tonight on the Cosmic News. Don't click off, or it'll crawl into your memory. Convert it to video and post it on the internet. You know, I will do it.
Hold up.
Flying high above the planet Earth, it is the Cosmic News with Newsbot 3000, brought to you by CosmicNewsNetwork.com. Tonight's Cosmic News is powered by LAforFree.com for people who want to see it. Want to be it? LAforFree.com. Brought to you by FreeandLA.com. This is a special report brought to you by CosmicNewsNetwork.com. Oh yeah. Well, since we are going to travel back to see my N-word, Carl Sagan, we thought we should do piece about how we go back in time.
Known ideas, although a simple cup of coffee can show the principles.
Imagine that space is like the coffee inside this cup. As I stir the coffee, it swirls around due to the motion of the spoon. And suppose that I drop an object like this coffee bean inside the cup. What's happening is that it's not moving through the coffee, but rather it's the coffee that's moving the bean around.
This rotating space supplies the boost that's needed to allow an object to break the light speed barrier without violating the laws of physics.
Within that rotating region of space, you can travel speeds up to the speed of light. But for someone that's standing outside, it would appear as though you're traveling faster than the speed of light. And for them, you will disappear from sight as you're traveling back into the past.
Of course, there is a problem with this kind of time machine, for black holes are not exactly readily available. However, this is where Ron had a stroke of inspiration. He realized that hidden in Einstein's theory all along, there was something that could be even better at twisting space: light itself.
It turns out that light is much more effective at twisting space and time. And so my idea is to use a circulating light beam to twist space and close time into a loop. The key technical challenge is trying to get enough laser power to cause this twisting of space and time. That's going to be the key challenge. And we're looking at several different possibilities to overcome that challenge.
Modern laser technology is extremely advanced. Lasers exist which can create conditions as hot as the center of the sun. An array of such devices could be made to fire simultaneously, producing not just a tiny ring, but a cylinder of light with enough power to twist space. An elementary particle, fired on a corkscrew-shaped path down into this tunnel, would wind its way into the past. Seen from outside, this experiment would have some pretty bizarre consequences.
I expect that particles might just simply appear out of nowhere, even though I didn't put anything into the machine. And those would be particles that would be from experiments that I perform next week or in a year from now, in which I'm sending particles back to my time, so that what I'm seeing are particles that I put into the time machine tomorrow or next year.
But there is one inescapable drawback to this machine. No matter how powerful, Ron could never use it to see or even communicate with his dead father.
This is a real time machine, and that means that when you turn it on today and you leave it on, it will only act during the time that you have it on. So if I turn it on today and I leave it on for 100 years, then I can travel from 100 years from now up to today, but I cannot travel before the machine was turned on. For me, the solace that I get from that is the fact that I will have achieved this goal, and it was inspired by my father, and I think that if he, had lived, he would have been very proud of what I had been able to accomplish. So that gives me solace, that I will have accomplished an understanding of time and created a time machine, and I will be able to live with that.
So while we might like to think that a time machine would open up the past, that's not strictly true. It's only in the future that time travel to the past is possible, and then only as far back as the moment the first time machine was activated. But of course, this begs the question, what happens when you first switch on the machine?
It's conceivable that when I turn the machine on, I start getting messages from the future, from people who are trying to communicate with me. That would be a possibility. That would be weird, but it's definitely would be a possibility.
The project to build the machine has only just begun, but it is an endeavor with consequences that are hard to overestimate. If all goes to plan, it could be stable enough to keep twisting time for a century or more, becoming, in effect, a phone line to the future. Anyone with access to the machine could send any kind of information back to that first.
I just love freeinla.com. Whenever I am in Los Angeles, Newsbot G7A, and I like to hit the town, I go straight to freeinla.com with over 3,000 things to do. Well, there truly is not enough hours in a day. Freeinla.com asks you, what are you doing tonight? When Carl was 5 years old, he wondered about the stars. What were they? Unsatisfied with the answers he got from his friends and from adults he knew, Carl went to the library and asked for a book about stars. The librarian handed him a book on celebrities. And I smoked copious amounts of weed with Carl, and I miss him very much. Sweet man. One of the smartest humans I know. So tonight we are going to fire up the time machine, so I can spend time with my old friend Carl Sagan.
We were hunters and foragers. The frontier was everywhere. We were bounded only by the earth and the ocean and the sky. The open road still softly calls. Our little terraqueous globe is the madhouse of those 100,000 millions of worlds. We who cannot even put our own planetary home in order, riven with rivalries and hatreds, are we to venture out into space? By the time we're ready to settle even the nearest other planetary systems, we will have changed. The simple passage of so many generations will have changed us. Necessity will have changed us. We're an adaptable species. It will not be we who reach Alpha Centauri and the other nearby stars. It will be a species very like us, but with more of our strengths and fewer of our weaknesses. More confident, far-seeing, capable, and prudent. For all our failings, despite our limitations and fallibilities, we humans are capable of greatness. What new wonders undreamt of in our time will we have wrought in another generation and another? How far will our nomadic species have wandered by the end of the next century and the next millennium? Our remote descendants, safely arrayed on many worlds through the solar system and beyond, will be unified by their common heritage, by their regard for their home planet, and by the knowledge that whatever other life may be, the only humans in all the universe come from Earth. They will gaze up and strain to find the blue dot in their skies. They will marvel at how vulnerable the repository of all our potential once was, how perilous our infancy, how humble our beginnings, how many rivers we had to cross before we found our way.
Well, that is all she wrote. The eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard, and the jello's jiggling. I hope I did not F-word things up. Oh well, good night Satellite 13 wherever you are. Oh, and wake up.